Assalamu alaikum, my dear learners. Welcome to my YouTube channel, Training for All. And today we will have a sixth lecture of IOSH Managing Safely. And in last lecture, I have discussed about the module number 3, and that was the first lecture of the module number 3. And today we are going to discuss module number 3, and this is the second lecture of module number 3. My dear learners, don't try to forget to subscribe my YouTube channel because you are getting the latest updated videos related to the health and safety, related to the IOSH managing safety, and we will discuss much more in the future as well. So if you like these videos, if you feel these information are valuable for you, useful for you in your future feed, in your HSC feed, then please subscribe and share my channel. My dear learner, basically in chapter number 3, we were discussing about the controlling risk, that how to control the risk. And basically here we have the hierarchy of risk control. Hierarchy means basically this is the chain of command. If you have any hazard in your organization, we have these 5 types of control which we can apply in the organization. So the purpose is that accident should not happen in the organization. The purpose is to control the unsafe condition, to control the unsafe act. The first and the most effective control, that is that is the eliminate. Eliminate means we try to eliminate the problem 100%. In some cases, elimination is not possible. Mean we cannot control the hazard 100%. For example, if there is a noise, we cannot control the noise up to the 0%. So if it is elimination is not possible, then we will move to the reducing the hazard. Reducing the hazard means that either we are reducing the likelihood or we are reducing the consequences. And at the third control measure, we will try to prevent the contact, means we are ensuring that area should be barricaded. For example, if we talk about the noisy environment, that noisy equipment must be properly enclosed with some partition or some walls. And the second last, that is the safe system of work, means we are introducing the procedures like the permit to work, like the job guide, like the standard operating procedure, and the last one is the personal protective equipment. In last lecture, I told you that why we are using the personal protective equipment as a last level of control. We know basically personal protective equipment is having some limitation. That's why we are using it as a last level of control, because these BP do not remove the problem 100%. So we will discuss all these control measures one by one. The most effective method is risk control is to completely eliminate the hazard. Yes, this is the best option. For example, if you see this picture, the person who is removing or unloading the cement bag by using their force. If we eliminate the control in this condition, then you can see that we have introduced some crane. Mean there's no involvement of individual for loading and unloading of the bag. So it means this control which we applied, this is the eliminate. Some cases, if elimination is not possible, if the hazard cannot be eliminated, then attempt to reduce the potential to cause harm. My dear, if it is not possible to eliminate the problem 100%, then we will go for the reduction. Mean we will try to reduce the likelihood, or we will try to reduce the consequences. So the purpose is that your residual risk should be within the range of acceptable limit. So in this case, we are reducing mean that, for example, if you are having the manual handling, you have divided that object into different parts for the easiness handling. That is also the reducing. For example, if you want to go to the Lahore from Karachi to Lahore, you say that there is a foggy weather, better to move on the train, better to move by the bus or by air. So these are the different options. So what you have to do, basically, you have to select the best of the best option, that either I can move to Lahore through train. If a train is not suitable or feasible, it is mandatory to move on your personal car. Then effort should be made that the driver should be competent. He must have the defensive driving course. And furthermore, your vehicle should be good, and the environment should also be kept in mind when you are moving from Karachi to Lahore. Another way to reduce the hazard is to substitute it. Substitute it means ultimately if we are using the chemical and that chemical is a hazard chemical, so we will purchase some other chemical from the market which is having the less hazard. If the hazard cannot be eliminated, attempt to reduce its potential to cause harm. Yes, if it is mandatory for you to move to Lahore by your own car, then effort should be made. Your driver should have the defensive driving course. Your vehicle should be okay, and you must have some alternate drivers or competent mean your driver should not be having the violent behavior. Third control in hierarchy of control, that is preventing the contact from coming into contact by with the hazards of separating them. For example, if there's a chemical storage and there's the possibility of having the entry of in that area, unauthorized entry, or you can say some fumes, some gases are there. So what we will do, basically, we have constructed the one chemical storage area. Signs are displayed, and furthermore, a thrice personal entry is also displayed there. So means the person who will enter in this room, he must be in the possession of authorization. He must be having the uh, experience related to the hazard, how to handle the chemical safety, especially. And the next is that is enclosed. I mean, this is also done to prevent the contact. For example, these are the rollers or moving parts. What we have done, we have introduced some guards on it. It means we are enclosing, or again we are preventing the contact of the individual. Then the second last option which we can apply in the organization as a safety professional, that is a safe system of work. Safe system of work means we are introducing some working methodology, we are introducing some written procedures, and we always focus that person should not depend on their memories. They must have the written procedures and they have to follow those procedures. Last one, personal protective equipment. This is the last line of defense, and since it is entirely reliant on the each employee remembering to wear. My dear, we all know that the personal protective equipments are used as a last line of defense or as a last level of control. Once your all efforts are over to control the risk, efforts will be in the form of eliminate, reduce, preventing the contact, safe system over. If there's still there is a residual risk, but that is unacceptable, then at the last option, we can provide the personal protective equipment to the workers. These are the different personal protective equipment. For example, we have a different parts of body starting from head to feet. For head protection, we use safety helmet. For feet protection, we use safety shoes. For inhaling or breathing protection, we use respirators, self-contained breathing apparatus, mask. For hand protection, we use safety gloves. For eye protection, we use safety goggles, glasses, and face shield. For hearing protection, we use the earmuff earplug. These all are called personal protective equipment. And we have also discussed that why we are using the PP as a last line of defense, because as we all know that control will be the biggest control who's having the depending on the human being, because we are not sure that either personal will use the personal protective equipment or not. Even you can see in this picture, there is a safety sign with blue color on his right, on his left side, that hard hat must be worn at all time. Even this individual is having the hard hat, but in spite of all the trainings, all the safety signs, still he is not using. It means he is waiting for someone, that safety supervisor or some other will come and then I will use. So that's why we are using it as a last option. Then you can see here, we have discussed earlier this picture also. For example, this is the canteen area and time is almost about break. So you can see there is the spillage of some fuel and even a person is cleaning that spillage. Signboards are displayed that this is the slippery surface area. And again, in last lecture, we have seen that this person was having the high speed when he was moving this trolley. Now the procedure is developed and workers are educated that when we are moving this trolley, your speed should be like this and your body posture would be like this. Now this time he is following all those procedures, and you can see that there is a change in his attitude and he is moving the trolley very safely. Again, as we have discussed earlier, that all the procedures are available. Either we talk about the hotel, we talk about the restaurants, or either we talk about the order taking area. Everywhere, for example, in our hotel, chef or cooking staff are properly head protection, hand protection, and good hygienic conditions are maintained. Even in last lecture, we have seen that the person was trying to put the nails in the wall, but he does not having the information that there are some routings of electrical cable inside the wall. So you can see here, there is the inspection record of these equipments is maintained, alarm is there, and there is the proper routing or proper layout of the routing. Means these are the electrical routings which everyone can easily identify and see. These basically in this wall there are some electrical routing, so we have to avoid the hitting of the nails in this area. Here, my dear learner, we have another example to use these 5 types of the control. For example, we are working on site, and if we talk about the eliminate hazard, it means that we are closing both sides of the road, right? It means nobody will move and nothing will happen. But in some cases, it is not possible to eliminate the hazard. Eliminate means it is not possible in some cases that you would be able to control the road on both sides. Ultimately, you have to facilitate the people, you have to facilitate the public as well. So it means that if elimination is not possible, then we will close one side, right? It means we are reducing the hazard. And once the one side is closed, but again, we have to prevent the contact and nobody is supposed to enter in our working area. It means we have to display the signboard and we have to put the safety cones in that area. Even in some cases, we also introduce the signal man and even areas properly get barricaded. Procedure is there that nobody is supposed to stay outside of these safety cones, but we can see in this picture that the person is violating the procedures and he's outside the safety cones. And my dear learners, in this case, you can see that almost all types of controls are implemented. Mean a reduction is there, preventing the contact is also there, procedures are displayed, and moreover, even those workers who are working on this site, they are also using the personal protective equipment. So in most of the cases, many of the hazard can be controlled by applying the different control measures. In this case, the most effective control you can see that is the eliminate mean closing the road, but in some cases it is not possible. Then we will try to reduce. Reduce mean we are controlling or shutting off one side and other side is open. Then we are preventing the contact by using the safety cones. Procedures have been developed and given to the workers. And the last one, even in spite of all these efforts, personal protective equipments are provided to the workers as well. A number of factors may affect your risk control decisions, mean which control is the best. Ultimately, there are different factors which you will consider for the selection of these control. Mean number of people you are trying to protect, mean how many people you are going to protect. And either you will depend or you will rely on the human behavior or not, because we have seen in last picture, even person was holding the helmet, sign was also displayed, but he was not using. And again, we will see that the control which we have introduced, what will be the maintenance requirement of that control? Either who will be responsible for its maintenance? What will be the cost? Again, we have to see the cost benefit analysis and the reduction of the risk. Mean after the implementation of these controls, what will be the level of the risk? Either that will be acceptable risk or that will be unacceptable risk. So the next one is, if the elimination is the safer option, what would cause us to choose a barrier instead? Yes, if elimination is the best option, mean we have discussed that this is the most effective control, but question is that if it is even it is the most suitable option, that what are their barriers that we are not? Ultimately, barriers can be the financial issue, barriers can be the time issues, and barriers can be the feasibility issue. That's why we are not using. My dear learners, as we see the hazard, we always try to eliminate the hazard or reduce the hazard. The purpose is that all personnel of the organization should be safe. So whenever you see the hazard, effort should be made that the risk must be reduced as far as reasonable. practicable. Reasonably practicable means that according to your resources, according to your capacity, organization will try to control the risk. Organization will try to protect the workers. Here you can see, normally we say that if the risk is high, then time and cost efforts can be high. But if the risk is low, ultimately we cannot invest much money to control that low risk. Again, your cost should be low, and it mean high risk, high cost, high investment is acceptable. But low risk, high cost would not be justified. So mean high risk, high cost, low risk, and low cost. This is the basically this is called the balance, or you can say this is the justification. And even in this chapter, in this lesson, we have discussed that either we are trying to reduce the likelihood or either we are trying to reduce the consequences. The purpose is to reduce the risk level, overall the risk level. For example, we have applied the likelihood control and consequences. Now the risk level is, for example, there is a two consequences and two likelihood, 2 multiplied 2 is equal to 4. And we say that this is the residual risk, which is acceptable. So the effort should be made that risk should not increase from 4 again. It means we need to review it regularly. We need to review, maintain it properly. And once the control measures have been selected, now this is the time to put risk control into your practice, that how you will control those risks. In this picture, you can see there are different hazards. For example, look at this person who is carrying out some CPU, but is poor manual handling technique. And further, you can see the person is putting his hand on head. He is under stress. And there is a spillage of some cup of tea on the floor, which can cause the slipping hazard. A lady purse is there on the floor. And there's the straps of the purse that can cause the tripping. The person who is sitting close to this chair is putting his feet on the table. And furthermore, he is throwing some pen to someone. That can also be the eating, and this is also the hazard. And there is a female at the end, and even you can see that there is a sunlight issue, there is some temperature issue, right? Even there is a cup of tea or something which is going to fall from the table. There's a female who's standing on the chair and she is trying to put or retrieve something. Again, this is the hazard. And there is another female, she's reading a book, and again she's moving. She's not looking on the ground or root, she's looking on the book. That can cause the slipping and tripping. And on this side, you can see there is a fire door, but some materials are just in front of the fire door, which is contrary to safety rules and regulations. And in this picture, you can see that there is a forklifter, and there is a moving of individual in forklifter area, which is not allowed. And person is standing on the forklifter pilot, which is also not allowed. There is the stress, and someone is looking at the clock, and there is the someone who is putting the hand in the moving part of the machine, that can cause the entanglement. And some chemicals or hot oil are spilled on the floor, which is causing the tripping, which is causing the polluting the environment. And in this picture, you can see there is a crane operation. Area is not properly barricaded. Person is holding some load without safe handling technique. Even there is a drilling machine and some underground utilities like electrical cable, like gas pipelines, and some sewerage system is there. There is a person on the scaffold, but edge protection is not done. There is a chance of falling. Electrical cables is there, but there you can see there is a poor housekeeping, and that may lead to the tripping hazard. And there is a cutting machine, even precautionary measures are not properly taken. So, my dear learner, this was all about this chapter, and this was the third chapter of IOSH Managing Safety, which was related to the controlling the risk. Mean how we can control the risk. We have discussed either to reduce the likelihood, either to reduce the consequences, or to apply the both. The purpose is to reduce the risk at some extent, where you can see that this is the residual risk, and even this is the acceptable risk. Mean a residual risk should be acceptable, mean should be in your required range. So, my dear learner, this is all about today. Hope to see you in next lecture, and our next lecture will be about the module number 4. related to the IOSH managing safety. Allah Hafiz, and don't try to forget, even subscribe my channel so you would be able to get the information and updated video.